So I hear this a lot. I hear that Sugar Ray Robinson fought nothing but a bunch of flat-footed bums and a bunch of tomato cans, a bunch of white boys who didn't really know how to fight, a bunch of cab drivers and shit. And my question is, if we don't even have a lot of footage on Sugar Ray Robinson, there's not a lot of footage of him out there. How do we know for sure that these guys that he were fighting were fucking bums, man? How do we know that for sure? I think a lot of us are just assuming that these guys must have been bums, and that's the only way that he could have possibly got to his 186 wins or however many he had. That's the only way he could have got there, is just by beating on a whole bunch of fucking bums. But how do we know they're bums, though? We can look at their record and see how many losses they had. But how many fights did they have? How many fights did they have? Who were they fighting? And on top of that, you have to keep in mind that these guys, some of these guys were fighting twice a week, man. 6, 7 times a month and shit on some crazy shit. Okay, so if they sustained an injury in any one of those fucking fights, that means that the injury is still there for that entire fucking month, possibly. They had no time to fucking heal, man. They don't have 6 months to heal up. I seriously doubt that Sugar Ray Robinson had sparring partners come in for Tiger Jones, for his Tiger Jones fight. I seriously doubt Sugar Ray Robinson had sparring partners to come in and simulate Tiger Jones, to help prepare him and come up with the game plan for that fight. I can almost guarantee you that 9 times out of 10, when Sugar Ray Robinson stepped in that fucking ring, he had no fucking clue about the guy that was in front of him. And these are things that I consider, man. I consider this shit, man. You gotta step in there with a motherfucker that wants to knock your block off, and you have no idea about this guy. You don't know what he's capable of. You don't know what he's gonna try to do. You don't know what his strengths are. You don't know what his weaknesses are. You gotta figure all of this out within those 15 fucking rounds. And just because he was so superior to these guys and knocked half of these motherfuckers out fast, we just say, oh, well, they were fucking bums. They were flat-footed bums. At the end of the day, you got a motherfucker in front of you that wants to kill you, man. Especially as Sugar Ray Robinson, man. These guys would have loved to make a name off of Sugar Ray Robinson. So just because he was that much better than them and knocked their ass out, people want to say, in the name of Floyd Mayweather, that these guys must have been flat-footed bums. And try to dig and look into their records and shit like that. And we don't even know anything about the guys who beat them. There was a lot of fucking fighters, man. And there's no way that all of these guys could have been bums. There's no way. I mean, even if they were, is that Sugar Ray Robinson's fault that he was so much better than them? Now, out of 200 fights, a motherfucker is going to have some damn losses, man, especially when you consider the fact that they had no time to rest in between fights. We can't just assume that they just went in there and they fought and they didn't get any injuries, man. Floyd Mayweather has had 2 injuries in his last 2 fights. He hurt his hand in the Robert Guerrero fight, and he said he hurt his elbow in this fight. Now, what if Floyd, with that hurt hand from the Guerrero fight, had to go in there the very next week against Canelo Alvarez? He would have been crippled, man. Who knows what would have happened to him? He probably would have got the shit beat out of him, man. These are things you guys have to consider, man. Let's not shit on these legends, man. They had to put in hard fucking work to still be talked about all these fucking years later, man. They didn't have websites sucking them off to help promote them and get their name out to the public. They didn't have all access episodes and 24/7 episodes to help promote their fights. These guys built a reputation for themselves by going out there and getting gritty and showing that they were just that much better than everybody else. They created the term pound for pound for Sugar Ray Robinson Can he hold his spot? Can he be in his own lane? When it comes down to skill, see, that's the problem with this debate. This has always been the problem with this debate between Sugar Ray Robinson and Floyd Mayweather. On the Floyd Mayweather side, most of his fans only want to focus on skill and skill only. That's it. And then on the other side, let's say like blood boxing, for example. He likes to focus on criteria, resume. And that's basically it. I mean, in his debate, he wasn't really considering skills too much. And I think that it's a combination of both. I think we have to look at both things and put them together and then place Floyd Mayweather in whatever place that we can put him. Now, I think skill-wise, Floyd Mayweather is the best that I've ever seen, man. I think that he's the best to ever lace him up as far as skills. He's taken the least amount of damage. He's a very accurate puncher. And there's nothing like him, man. There's never been anything like him, man. He truly is something special in that fucking ring. And I enjoy watching him. So when it comes down to skills, Floyd Mayweather is number one pound for pound. There's no fucking argument about that. But we can't just look at skills only, man. We have to look at the resume. We have to look at how pampered that he has been at times, man. I mean, he's able to pick his fighters, man. He should have never been in the fucking ring with Victor Ortiz. You know, he should have never been in there with a fucking Robert Guerrero. Nobody was calling for those fucking fights. You know, and I'm not saying that he was wrong, you know, or he shouldn't be credited for those fights. You know, maybe they were tune-up fights. But still, he had the luxury of being able to choose those guys. Sugar Ray Robinson stepping in the ring with motherfuckers, he had no clue what they can do. He has to figure it out. Can you imagine what he was going through? He didn't love boxing. He was very vocal about that. So can you imagine him back in the locker room like, man, let me see what fucking bullshit I got to deal with tonight. You know what I'm saying? He goes out there, he ends up knocking the guy out. What if he hurt his fucking hand? Knocking this guy out. What if he bruised his rib? And then 2 weeks later, he's jumping in there with somebody and he gets beat because his injuries aren't healed. There's a lot of things you have to consider, man. You know, me personally, I root for Floyd Mayweather, man. I hope that he retires undefeated because I would love to see him give a big fuck you to all the critics and all the people who just want to see him lose because he's a flashy, rich black athlete and he's not supposed to leave the game on top. He's supposed to be broke at the end of his career. He's supposed to be beat up and old and broke and begging for money so that they can put him on the road like Muhammad Ali and show him off and have him traveling all over the world like an artifact and shit. You know, that's what they want for Floyd Mayweather. They want to own his fucking name. And he's not letting that shit happen. And I hope he pulls it off, man. It looks like he's going to pull it off, man. That part of the argument, I agree with 100%, man. But shitting on a legend like Sugar Ray Robinson, man, that type of shit right there, I think that that's bad because when casual fans listen to this type of talk, man, they're going to start believing you, man. And they're going to you're selling Sugar Ray Robinson short. If it wasn't for Sugar Ray Robinson, there wouldn't be a Floyd Mayweather. Point blank, period. There wouldn't have been a Muhammad Ali. Sugar Ray Robinson raised the bar, man. He set a different standard and shit. And when you look at the styles of Muhammad Ali, Sweet Pea Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, I mean, you could trace that all the way back to Sugar Ray Robinson. His footwork might not have been as sharp. His defense might not have been as sharp. But he set the fucking blueprint and they perfected it. And somebody else is going to come along one day and do it better than Floyd Mayweather. And you guys are going to be pissed. I'm telling you. I've said this before. You guys are going to be mad as hell when these kids in the future say that whoever comes along is better than Floyd Mayweather. Watch, you're going to be pissed off. But that's my video. You guys leave your comments at the bottom. I'm out. Peace.